Listen, without marketing, you don't have a business. There are plenty of business that live on referrals, but what ends up happening is referrals do dry up, right? And you do have to get yourself out there. There's always new companies, and there's always, so you have to make yourself visible.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Growth Media Marketing Channel. Today, Tony and I are going to talk about the ultimate marketing checklist. So whether you're looking for a strategy and just starting out, or if you're a business owner that's just wanting to checks and balances, make sure everything is as it should be, this checklist is going to go through all the foundational things that you need to make sure people can find you. So you don't want to miss out.
Yeah. This is just like an overall checklist that you can, on your own, go through your website and just see where you rank on a lot of these areas. Are you doing some of this stuff? So let's just go right into it. And again, if you guys obviously want a copy of this, by all means, just hit us up. Be more than happy to do that. Let's just start with the first section and hop right into it.
Is your website optimized for conversion? Is your phone number on your website in the top right corner where people can see it right away? Are there images of your staff, of yourself? Do you have call to actions? Do people know what you're asking them to do throughout the website, whether it's a phone call, chat? Can people reach out to you right then and there? Is it fast on mobile or desktop? If your website takes too long, I'm bouncing out. Talk to me about the importance of all these little things. I think most of us probably already know, but let's break it down for maybe someone starting out.
So basically, you have a phone number in the top right-hand corner of every page. And if you're a service business, you want them to call. You want to have your number visible so people can kind of see it right off the bat, and they can click on it and give you a call. That's a no-brainer. So many people bury the phone number or hide the phone number, or it's on the bottom of the page, right? So it's like if someone gets there, I don't see that information, and I just go find someone else, right? When it comes to like your website itself and your images and your videos and things like that, we see so many websites that have stock images. And can Google recognize stock images?
It knows it's a stock image. It's not actually benefiting your business.
It's not authentic and right. And it's not geotagged with a location and things like that. And it doesn't have to be anything professional, right? People want to see real people and things like that. So that is one we find all the time. The other one, what you mentioned there is a clear call to action, right? When someone gets to your site, what do you want them to do?
I want them to call me, or I want them to fill out this form.
Absolutely.
But contact me.
Yep. And the buttons have to be clear. They have to be bright. They have to stand out. Many people are worried about aesthetics and how a site might look, and the button blends. I don't even know where it is. Like, how do I get a hold of these people? I know it sounds like it's so basic, but that's where people fail all the time, is on the basic stuff, right?
And I want to give them credit, because I think sometimes it's tunnel vision. You've just worked on your website for so long to make it look really good that sometimes you lose sight of those little things.
Yeah. And then next thing, right, it's like a chat, right? We all text. And most websites don't have some kind of chat widget. And we're not talking about a person live chatting with you. We're talking about a system where you pop in and you're able to put your number in with the initial problem or question, and then someone can actually text you back with that answer, right? So again, a lot of people are missing out because people want that information fast. Talking about fast, your mobile speed, right? Is super important. It sounds all basic, but these are all super important. And say with the majority of these things, you can do yourself, other than maybe the, loading of the website, that's a little bit trickier. There are plugins that make it easier if you're using WordPress and things like that, or you could reach out to like developer to kind of help with that. So yeah, that's just quick summary of that section.
Next we have, is your website optimized for search engine rankings? So what's included in that? We're talking about, do you have the title tag on every page of your website? Do you have pages for all of your services, those core services? Obviously, you want to focus on the ones that are generating you the most income. Then do you have city pages? Do you have pages for the brands that you install? So the brands that you work with. Do you have unique content on all the pages of your website, or is it repetitive? You don't want that. Then you want to make sure that you are ranking for keywords, so that you have specific keywords on your website that are important to your business and the service that you do and where you serve that, so the location. And then having links, inbound and outbound links to your website. Let's talk about those, Tony.
It's how Google optimizes and ranks your site. If Google doesn't know where you're located and you're not using, keywords and things like that, or you have the content to kind of back that up, Google doesn't know that you do HVAC in Danbury, Connecticut, as an example. So having those pages, with the right content, with the right images that are actually labeled that way, showing people, your people, not other people, doing that work, that's how Google knows that you're real. If you're in the service area, and I'm assuming you're going to people's homes, right, to do a lot of this work. And if you're located in a specific spot, if you're located here, but you travel all over Connecticut, you want to make sure that you have, the location pages with the services that you do and things like that. Because, if someone's 30 minutes away and you're willing to drive there, as an example, I might be looking for that service in my area near me. And if you have a properly set up service page showing that I do this type of service in your city with the video or a testimonial from a customer from that city with pictures from that city of a heater you just replaced, as an example, right? It just tells Google these guys actually work in those cities, and you have a much higher chance of coming up organically in those areas. And we can go in a lot more depth in this, but we're just touching the service level. If you talk about the jobs in your blog, in the cities that you work in and things like that, these are all signals to Google that yes, you are someone that operates your business in these locations and things like that. So again, we're constantly building pages and things like that. So but if you only have one page website that just says I'm a plumber, I do this, this, and this, give me a call, you're probably not going to get too far, right, Nicole?
Your competitors are doing more than that, and you're being buried because it's just not enough content for you to rank and have that authority from Google to show up on that first page.
Yeah, and then the last one there, you're linking back to your websites of ranking is trust, right? The more someone trusts you, the higher the authority that you have. So it's the same thing with your website. If you're a brand new business, no one knows who you are, no one's voting for you. And how they vote in the world of the internet is someone's going to give you a link. They're going to talk about your business on their site and then give you a link, or you're going to write something, or you guys, let's say I'm a plumber and I worked with my electrician that's been around for a while, and we did a blog together and we talked about the job that we did in Richfield, Connecticut, right? And then there's a link back to the site. That site has some authority. What that site is doing is it's just linking back to me, and it's giving me a vote of confidence. And the more people that do that and the more links that you get back to your site, the higher your domain authority becomes. And now Google will look at you and say, this person actually is a legit person that actually has authority, and you're going to rank much higher than all the people that don't have the authority. So there's a lot of different strategies to that. It's the one thing that most people will need help on as far as getting that done, but that will have the most impact is getting these links in. And most business, when they start off, they have a zero domain authority, which means you're nobody, right? And
Mhm.
most average businesses are domain authority of like 20 to 25, right? Like Google, Facebook have an authority of, 99. Now, and the way the authority works, right, is it's not a 70-point difference. It's a 70,000 point difference. It's like the Richter scale. A 1 to the 2 is seismic, right? It's not double. There's different strategies. But again, these are all things that you'll probably need help on, or at least get more background and training on it.
Jumping into the next section, and this should be a little simpler for everyone.
Yes.
Is your company optimized to rank on Google Maps, which is Google Business Listing, Google Business Page? So, have you claimed and verified it? If you haven't, it's free to do. Make
Yep.
sure that you optimize it. Are you on all the major directories for your service? Making sure that here it says consistent NAP, that means your name, address, and phone number. Making sure that that matches across all listings. Having online reviews. We all know how important reviews are.
Mhm.
So making sure that you have reviews on your Google business page, that you're asking for reviews every day, and that you're responding to them and to any questions. Those are all ways that you can optimize your Google business page. Now let's break some of that down.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, go for it.
verifying your listing, it is free.
It's
There is no
free.
reason for you not to have one.
Yeah, and sometimes, okay, so obviously you can do it yourself, but a lot of times what happens is somebody else will create something for you and you just have to claim it. So if you haven't claimed your business and you see it, claim it, make it yours, right?
Mhm.
If you don't have one, create one. So again, this is something you can definitely do. We claim it for you. We verify. Obviously, if you have a local business and address, Google will either send a card with a code, then you get back to Google. But if you're a service-based business that travels, we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to be doing your service area, and there's different verification methods with that. Once we get you verified and we get all the information proper, like the NAP, like Nicole mentioned, we're going to make sure that your profile is completely filled out. right? It's super important, right? Because if it's not optimized, there's a lot of different things that you can do from categories to when you're open or closed, like a ton of stuff on that. And you just want to make sure everything's filled out, right? Correctly.
Mhm.
So those are the basics, right? And then Google also
Yeah,
obviously like you can post on Google, so you can do offers, you can do like little quick posts and things like that. And then what happens too is people will actually ask questions. You want to make sure you respond. Again, you want to make sure that you're active on there. So these are all the things that will help with you. And obviously, the most important one is getting reviews and consistently getting reviews. That is going to help your listing, right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, once you have that set up, there's a lot of other online directory listings. There's services that make it a lot easier to do this. There's probably about, depending on your industry, 60 plus other directories that you want to make sure that is consistent. We have our own thing that we do where we make sure that we pull all the information and it sends out to these directors automatically, and what it does is it makes sure that all the information matches across the board. It's a slow poke, method. But eventually what happens is everything kind of gets updated and everything's current. And then it helps Google say, yep, it looks consistent. And I think these people, I can start to trust them a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also want to mention, very important, that if you've created your Google business listing and maybe you entered something incorrectly and you can't get it verified, or it's stuck and you can't get in, you can actually connect with Google and get that sorted out. So we've done it before for
Good.
a plumber that we helped get that done. If you're stuck, I don't want you to think like, well, I've tried and it didn't work. It's very possible to get that fixed so that you can utilize that for your business.
Reach
If you
out to
can't
us.
figure it out, reach out. We're
Yeah.
happy to help.
Absolutely. We'll obviously do our best to try to help you guys out. So this next section.
Are you taking advantage of paid online marketing? We're talking about running Google local service ads if you're a service based business. We're talking about retargeting ads. If a lead left your site, are you retargeting? Are you doing Google ads? Are you doing social media, Facebook ads, right? Are you doing pay per click, pay per lead services? So, are you doing any kind of paid advertising?
Why do you need to do paid advertising, right? So again, if you're a brand new site and you don't have any of these SEO terms and things like that, right? You're not going to rank. Okay. So, but you need business. So somehow you have to get this business in. So, if you are an HVAC and you're looking to do installs, you may want to start paying for an HVAC in Richfield, Connecticut, because that's what's going to get you business. Like now, we almost treat paid ads like leasing a car, right? What you're doing is you're leasing that space or that vehicle to make sure that you like it before you buy it. It's the same thing with, paid advertising. What you're doing is you're collecting these words and you want to make sure that these words actually bring in money. So what you're doing is you're paying Google to show these things up. And if it's netting a profit, what that tells you is that these keywords are actually worth buying and keeping. And how you buy it is now you start to build out your pages and your blogs and you do all this talking about these keywords. So you rank organically in hopes that you don't have to keep spending that kind of money later on, because now you own those keywords, you own the area and things like that. But it's the way to get in front of people in those keywords in the beginning. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. Service ads are great. They're easy to set up. Google ads in itself is a little more complicated. But like, again, all these things, if you're not careful, you can waste a lot of money on. So what I always do is I recommend getting some kind of help or some kind of guidance in setting things up. If you guys need help with that or need a direction with that, we could definitely talk strategy and point you in the right direction. Okay.
Mhm.
With that stuff. Well,
Drop a comment below.
yeah, absolutely. We'll leave it at that because again, a lot of this stuff does get complicated, but the question is, are you taking advantage of it while you're trying to get some of your keywords to rank? How do I get new business, right? You got to get out there. You got to become visible, and paying for ads or Facebook ads will help you get visible. So how about we hop into the next section?
All right. Are you active on social media? Do you have your business profile set up on Facebook, X, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, all of the things? Are you getting engagement? Are you posting consistently and updating those? Another great foundational place to start is getting that set up and being consistent with it.
Focus on your main ones, right? So obviously Facebook and Instagram kind of go hand in hand. LinkedIn is
Super
a
easy.
lot for like business to business. So if you're doing a lot of like, if you're a type of service that does more of a business to business type thing, obviously being on there is a great thing to do. YouTube, right? It's the second largest engine in the world next to Google. So creating videos that are
Mhm.
helpful and things like that will make you visible when people are searching for things. But again, more importantly, is just to show that you're active, and the more engaging your content is, kind of says that people start to connect with you as a person, right? You're the face of your company. And if they're going to, if they buy something or service something and they like you, there's a good chance that they're going to reach out to you, have you come over and help them out with what their needs are. But yeah, if you're just posting your social media to 3 followers, the only people that are seeing are your wife, your maybe your kid and your brother. You're not really getting much traction. So hence where the going back to the paid ad stuff kind of goes in. So the idea is to obviously build your audience,
Mhm.
and things like that. So you actually have an audience that will actually do that. But again, just you got to start someplace, right? You got to start from zero and you got to slowly start building up. So we'll leave
Yeah.
it there for social media for now.
All right. Are you leveraging your email marketing and any automation as well? So, are you following up with your leads within 5 minutes or less, whether it's phone, SMS, or email? Do you have a conversion campaign set up in place to follow up with people who maybe didn't respond right away? So, all of those leads. And do you have a database for your customers to say their email? So, you're using a CRM. Are you sending out monthly newsletters? Are you leveraging email to get reviews and share your social media profiles?
you know, People want answers. They want the answers quick. And, the longer it takes for you to respond, it just increases your chances of losing that customer or them going to the next person. Right. So, it doesn't matter what business you are. People are calling in a case of emergency, right? Something's going on, like a plumber, they need help now. And by the time you get done with your job, as an example, or you call them on the way, from in between jobs, they're already on to like the next one. So having
Yeah.
some automation and things like that. And this is, I think, a lot of businesses, they don't have systems in place. Maybe they have a receptionist or, they hire someone like that. If you set up the system properly, these automations and things like that, it's super easy. That it can send out a text really
Yeah.
quick. It can respond. If you set up these smart bots where if someone says this, you're going to respond to this. There's all sorts of creative things. But more importantly, it's like you're getting the answer to that person ASAP, and there's a
Mhm.
higher chance that they're going to continue staying with you or looking. But to me, that's the one that I think people miss out on, the most.
Yeah.
And that's one of the easiest things to fix. Comes
Yeah.
to like all the other things, right? The emails, the newsletters and things like that, right?
Newsletter.
It's great, it's cool to have, but realistically most people are not going to have that kind of time, to kind of send it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And
Yeah, like your database for your customers, your emails. Some people are still using things like Excel sheets and things like that. We've been there,
yeah.
but I'll tell you,
Yes.
you got to start someplace. Eventually it pays back for itself. A lot of
Yeah.
these basic systems, especially with AI and some of the things that are going on, it's super easy and it does not cost a ton of money to set these things up. And once they're set up, they're automatic. They just go on their own, and the return that you get for them, honestly, it's nothing for the amount of money that you gain back. So yeah, so that's your email and
Yeah.
marketing automation stuff. There's a lot more to talk about there, but that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to that section.
All right. So we're moving on to, do you have the tracking in place to gauge your ROI? And this goes back to our digital plumbing. If you
That's
haven't seen
right.
that video, feel free to take a look. Digital plumbing, do you have your Google Analytics, right? Your call tracking, your keyword ranking, all of those things connected so that you can gauge your ROI? Because if we don't have the numbers, you're really flying blind. Care to share on that a little
Absolutely. No,
more?
listen, absolutely. If you don't know what's broke, you can't fix it. If you don't know what's working, you can't do more of it. If you don't know what's not working, you can't automatically do less of that. So by having these basic things set up, it will actually guide you into what you're going to do more of. You want to make sure that you have these things set up, right? Especially if you're spending money on ads and things like that. So you want to make sure that you're maximizing your dollar spend. Check out our digital plumbing video, which kind of gets into a lot more depth into that. So, and then finally, this is our
A little visual aid.
our circle of success.
I like that.
Oh, I mean, listen, if you give good service, you're going to be successful. The idea is you have the full potential of maximizing your leads, from the SEO to your ads to your retargeting to your directories to your refer. All these things bring in leads. And that's what it looks like. What most people usually do is some very basic SEO, right? Maybe they touch a little bit on social media. Most people don't do retargeting, right? And retargeting is
Yeah.
when you go on a website, maybe you're looking at a pair of shoes, and next thing you know, like those same shoes are following you all over the place. X going
Everywhere.
on, right? That's retargeting, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, again, it's a lot of
Yeah.
information, right? But again, we want to start to kind of lay out more of a foundation for you guys.
More importantly, where you're missing those opportunities.
Yep.
Is it that you're not following up with leads, or is it that when you are, you're sending like this giant email with so much information that I'm not going to read and then I'm not going to go back to it? So using this to go, okay, I'm doing that. Am I doing it well? Maybe I didn't optimize it properly. And then going through and going, okay, well, here's my low hanging fruit. Here's what I can do myself. Or
Yep.
here's where I maybe need another set of eyes or someone who's a professional, to do these ads, for example. But it gives you the tools and structure to say, let me start here, and let me see what I can do myself and maybe
Yeah.
where I need a little bit of guidance, or am I am I doing something maybe 20% versus 50% or 75 or 100%? So it's really just a really good foundational tool for you to look at your strategy and the simple areas you can improve on. A lot of this, like Tony said, you can do it yourself. And if you're stuck anywhere, you can always drop a comment, let us know. We're happy to make a video about it, a tutorial. So we're here, happy to be resources for you. And we want to keep growing with you and helping you grow your business and scale. If there's something in this checklist or something else that's going on in your business that you would like a little bit of insight on.
Listen, without marketing, you don't have a business. Like there are plenty of business that live on referrals, right? But what ends up happening is like referrals do dry up, right? And you do have to get yourself out there. There's always new companies. So you have to make yourself visible. And there's a lot of different strategies. So we want to try to start with a strong foundation. Then you could build a house. If you build a house on a weak foundation, all sorts of things happen. It's the same thing when you're marketing. Doesn't mean you have to do everything, but what you can do is get the things set up properly. There are also plenty of people that are like, I'm good at my business. I'm a plumber. I'm an electrician. I'm a roofer. I don't have time for this. So I'd rather have you guys take care of it and stuff like that. But I always say it's a joint effort. We want to know what your goals are, right? And we want to make sure that, they're consistent with what we're doing. Are they matching up? We're making, adjustments and stuff like that. So however you guys need to do this, we're here to help. But that's all I wanted to add because a lot of people talk to other marketing companies. The goal is not to keep spending your money. The goal is to bring you
Yeah.
business, right? So that way you can justify what you're spending on your marketing. It's also not to break your bank either. And if we teach
Yeah.
you all the right things, you don't have to necessarily do it. But here's what you do know, whether it's us or someone else, when someone's trying to pull the wool over your eyes because you understand it, right? You don't have to be an expert at it, but at least you understand it. Because at the end of the day, we do want it to see you succeed. That's what we try to do: educate, help, advise, point them in the right direction. So, but again, I hope all this stuff helps. I hope you guys are always getting value with what we're doing here.
Make sure to follow and like and drop a comment.
Awesome. All
See
right,
you next
guys,
week.
always a pleasure. Peace.